Yeah, dude, we got a ton of topics.
We had a ton of topics.
So real quick, topic list. We can talk about Liver King. We can talk about ancestral living. We can talk about our goals for 2022. Hashtag
Oh,
goal
that's a good
setting.
one.
Hashtag YouTube influencer. Dude, I can't stop watching those videos. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Which ones?
The ones that are just like, here's everything you need for 2022. And then
I
it's
haven't-
just like
I
basic
haven't
goal
seen
setting
that yet.
101. Oh, God. They're
Yeah, I
coming
don't really
for
want
you,
to watch
dude.
that.
Are you on self improvement tube?
Some of it, but I guess clearly not enough.
I say that with like a huge asterisk because it's really just like you kind of hate yourself, but also you want to like watch videos that
Yeah.
make you feel vaguely productive tube.
Yeah, it's the when you realize that it's really just you're after the dopamine rush of watching something where you're imagining what it feels like to be productive as opposed to being productive, and then you just keep going down that rabbit hole instead of doing something with your life. It's really depressing.
Yeah. Once you take that kind of like half step back and then, I
Yeah.
don't know, dude. That's all social media is, man. It's just people trying to exploit you for that fucking dopamine rush.
It really is, and it's gotten so meta that like one of the big trends this past year has been like dopamine detoxes.
Yeah, actually, that's that's one of the things that I've been seeing a lot about. What do you think about that?
I think there's some truth to it, but I think, as is the case with anything, a lot of these people are selling you something that's unrealistic, and they're doing so intentionally so that people will keep coming back to like learn how to like get better, as opposed to like what the actual helpful advice is, which is like, maybe just be conscious of spending a little less time on your phone, spend a little more time reading, spend a little more time just like, I don't know, maybe you want to spend 10 minutes a day meditating, like just some little things that you can add to your life that are actually realistic and will result in long-term change, but they are slow. And these people will advertise shit like you're going to have a whole day where you're not allowed to have sugar, you're not allowed to fucking read, you're not allowed to do anything but like go for a walk and sit down, and it'll reset your brain and you'll start enjoying doing work after that. Like that's such a load of shit that, and no one's gonna fucking do it, right? Not many people are gonna commit to like a Sunday with genuinely zero phone, zero TV, even like the full version. Like they'll say like level 3 is like where you can't read.
Yeah. I think ultimately kind of like what they're selling you is this like fantasy that like you can become a different person in just like 7 days if you just go full hard mode and you don't do anything.
It's kind of the same shit as fucking Liver King.
It's exactly the same shit as Liver King. It's this fantasy that like, oh, if only you follow these 9 ancestral tenets, or like you just don't have any kind of dopamine in your brain, then you'll become just like a magically better person overnight.
Yeah. I mean, the trick to all of it is just balance. And no one wants to hear that, including myself. I never want to fucking hear that. But it always is the honest truth. It's like, the answer to me feeling better about myself isn't actually dedicating myself so much to the gym where I stop engaging in almost any social event because there's inevitably going to be like food there, or there's going to be alcohol, or I'm not going to get my 10 hours of sleep, or whatever the fuck. And then I'm just miserable because I'm a loner and I'm getting jacked for no reason. And like, yes, it probably will result in more gains in the short term. Like I will make more gains more fast, but all the negative. It's the same thing with that. It's where it's just like, actually, you're probably going to be happiest if you find a workout routine that like fits in your schedule and isn't taking away from your ability to have like a normal social life.
It's
the
such
same.
It's such a meme, but when people say like the habit has to be sustainable, like it really does actually have to be sustainable.
Yeah,
though.
it's the only fucking way you're going to do anything, because that the shiny new toy, whatever what's it called? It's like shiny new toy syndrome or something like that, where it's like you get addicted to one big thing that's going to change your life. It's like for 2 weeks it's keto, and then you don't feel like a god in 2 weeks, so you find the next big thing, and the next big thing is like, I don't know, calisthenics, and then it's like training for a marathon on top of your training. And then it doesn't have to be all training. I mean, I've just gone down a lot of the training rabbit holes, but all this shit. And at the end of the day, it's more just like, yes, we understand that there's a general problem where we're like addicted to screens, and we're losing we're losing our attention spans because of it. But the answer isn't to just go full blown back to, like, they are helpful in some ways.
It's funny how so many of these prescriptions ultimately just boil down to like just return to monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Simply return to monkey, and then you will no longer be sad and you will be happy, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, it's sort of, so I worked with a woman, and I'm not going to say her name because it's such a unique name that if I said it, I'm almost positive that no one else in the United States has her name. But she legally changed her name to some like ancestral name, and like she does this. Like she lives in a cabin in the woods. She has no electricity, no Wi-Fi. Like boils all her water to make sure it's clean out of like a local pond. Grows all her own plants. You know, doesn't have credit cards. You know, uses like candles as her light source and all this shit. And she's, compared to the other people who I worked with at this grocery store, she probably was the happiest. She was really happy and content with her life. But it was more, from what I observed, it was more just a case of she was willing to make the sacrifice of giving up all the pleasures that technology can bring to just not have to deal with any of the drawbacks and any of the stress and anxiety of it. And her life was very much just like, wake up, go to work, like have my social life be at work where I'm a cashier. And she put a lot of effort into getting to know all of the regular customers so that she could have, like, for her, what were actually just like, you know, what most people would consider like, you know, having friends over for dinner type conversations. She would have those at work. And then she'd go home and like, you know, cook her stew or whatever. And, you know, I don't know what the fuck she would do, but like, you know, whatever. But there was no, like, she would go home and she had no way of connecting with other people, and it was just her. So she was like, she was happy, but it wasn't like she was missing out on so many of the things that a lot of people are able to engage in, and her ability to care about culture when it comes to movies, when it comes to music, anything that like could actually be a really big positive, she was missing out on. So it's like, yeah, you can be happy, but it's almost sort of like you're happy because you're limiting your capacity for anxiety and stress and sadness by removing all these extremes. I don't know.
Which maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something to that rather than kind of like chasing these hedonistic pleasures like forever. Just like removing all the shit that makes you miserable.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know, it's tough, right? Because you can, so many good things in life, whether it be relationships or physical things or passions, like I do a lot of music, and music brings me a lot of stress. I have a really bad, I've had a very tough relationship with music over the past 10 or so years because I've put all this pressure on myself to make it and like basically be like, show everyone else in my life that like I'm cool and unique because I made it full time doing music. And I developed so much stress and anxiety around practicing it and then even making anything or releasing anything that it ended up like taking away from a lot of it. And a lot of the time it felt more stressful than like doing like my normal schoolwork. So one could say, all right, well, the answer is to just never touch an instrument again. And I'm not really sure that actually will result in, it will remove a lot of stress from my life, absolutely. But I don't think I think putting in the time and effort to really learn and focus very closely on how to target the negative messages that I play in my head of feeling like each time I pick up a guitar, I have to produce the next hit song in the next 2 hours or else it's a waste of my time when I'm done. Like figuring out how to combat those messages in my head is a much more useful, because it does bring me so much like happiness and pleasure and calm that I don't know. Anyways, that's my spiel.
Isn't
on all
that like,
shit.
I don't know. I was talking to a guy we both know about this, and kind of, we came up with this, I don't know about thesis, but this idea that like there are some people who are kind of like just the more content type, and those of us who kind of like find meaning in the struggle. And I think you kind of got to know which kind you are. And I think if you have sort of like an artistic spirit, or even just like a really kind of like ambitious kind of like mindset, then you're the kind of person you just need to like embrace the struggle. Like it's never going to go away.
Yeah. I'm recognizing very early on. The sooner you can recognize that there's no amount of like social media followers you're going to gain, where you'll feel like you've made it. Like I remember when I started on SoundCloud feeling like, God, like if I could, like the other kids, it was mostly it was a genre of music that I was really into that mostly was made by like 14 to 20 year olds. Like it was very much a genre specific to like teenagers and like young kids. And we were all the people making it. And so all these other kids were like new to the music scene. Very few of them had quote unquote like blown up. So most of the ones who were like in my mind like were successful had like 500, 1,000 followers on SoundCloud, and we're getting like a few thousand plays per song. And I remember thinking like, God, like I feel like I can show my music to anyone if I reach those things, and like they'll be so impressed because it's like clearly I've made it. And I haven't posted to my SoundCloud, sort of dead as a platform. It's not really where I would go to promote my music anymore. But I now have over 5,000 followers on SoundCloud and have about 1 million streams on SoundCloud. And I still very much feel anytime I tell someone I'm interested in music that I need to throw in the qualifier that it's just sort of like a hobby and like I'm not that good yet. Even like clearly I've had some real success there. Is it enough to have made a full-time living off of? Maybe if I really committed to it seriously and put in 40 hours a week, but I'm not sure I want to. I'm not sure that's like at that point, I'm not sure I would really enjoy it anymore. So it just goes to show all this. Yeah. The fun of it is like the moments where I find something new, like there's a sound I've been trying to chase and like I finally find it. And that's on my own. That's like that has nothing to do with pleasing anyone else.
Yeah. It's like the intrinsic versus extrinsic.
Yeah.
Exogenous, whatever kind of motivation,
Something
like
like that.
inside
Yeah.
versus outside, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Which is all fake and gay, by the way, but true, but fake and gay.
but fake and gay. It is very fake and gay. Yeah. All this, it's all pseudoscience anyway. No, but absolutely. Kind of like chasing that intrinsic motivation is like, it's the toughest thing because like if you're the kind of person who's never happy with yourself, then it's like you're always chasing that dragon.
Yeah, it's learning how to be happy with yourself, and that's a fucking challenge.
That's the hardest part.
That is the hardest thing to do in life.
Maybe
Just
ever.
be like, I'm not a loser, and actually believe it. God, can't remember the last time I've thought that.
But I don't know about you, but that is my struggle at this point in my life is to actually try and achieve that to a point where I feel like I am happy with who I am.
Yeah.
And it feels like a fight, honestly. It is in a lot of ways.
It's a fight every single day, and finding the balance between holding myself accountable to actually putting in the effort to like improve myself versus not putting so much pressure on myself that I constantly feel like a failure is a line like I feel like I can never find the proper balance.
Yeah. It's the razor's edge, right?
Yeah.
And you're always going to be fucking walking it, I guess.
And I'll have a few days where I'm like uber productive, feel on top of the world, and then I'll be like, all right, I've earned it. And I'll have like 2 or 3 straight really lazy days. And then I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm a lazy fat bum, even though I weigh like 165 pounds. and then I'll grind real hard and won't drink for a few days. And then I'll like party for a few. It's just like back and forth.
It's
and
an endless loop, yeah.
Yeah, it's an endless loop. And I wish I could just find a fucking balance. So in a weird way, what I've been trying to do as I've been going through my fucking mental health struggle that has been COVID is like days where I'm in that like really productive like grind set and like I feel good about it and it brings me nothing but just happiness. I like will force myself to have a beer at night and be like even on the nights where I'm like, no, like I'm grinding for the fucking abs and like I don't even want the beer, I like force myself to have a beer to just be like, you can fucking relax. Like,
yeah,
make yourself fucking relax and have a fucking beer, whether you like it or not, you little bitch.
and you know, in a very
and that's
weird
almost
way,
harder.
That's like that seems like kind of oddly healthy in a sense that you're forcing some level of moderation on yourself, right?
It's been massively helpful. Like I've gone from dude, my God, scientists need to do a study on me. My fucking turnaround in my mental. I've gone from like the most depressed I've ever been to like feeling like pretty fucking good in like 2 months.
So, yeah, I was going to ask, like, if you compare, because, like, we're approaching the end of the year, blah, blah, all this, like, gay shit or whatever, you know. But if you compare yourself, like, now, basically end of 2021 to beginning of 2021, how do you feel like
On top of the fucking world. I have a job. I have a steady income. I mean, I haven't started the job yet, but I know now that I have a guaranteed source of income. It's more than enough to live by. And for me, like, I could not, the pressure to like have a nice house, have a nice car, have nice shit in my house always came externally from my ex. She cared about those things. And I don't think it was entirely like, you know, I don't know. It's not to like rip on her. It's just she had her priorities, and I'm not.
Now, to kind of clarify, did she come from kind of like a more insecure background in like a monetary or like a material sense?
You mean just like growing up?
Yeah,
like
like growing up.
Do you mean like maybe money was kind of an issue?
Yeah.
Yes and no. Her family was wealthy is a relative term. Like in my circle, growing up in an Ivy League town, not wealthy.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the world and the majority of Americans, yes, wealthy. Wealthy family. Her dad had some legal problems which caused some financial stress, but her mom has a law degree. There was never any stress for money. I don't want to like psychoanalyze my ex in the public. Like that just seems wrong of me to do. So I'm not going to like sit here and talk about what I think drove her to care about certain things versus other things. But just the point, the fact of the matter was that like it mattered to her way more than it mattered to me. Like the prestige of my job title and what car we drove and being able to afford expensive wine for dinner on Friday nights.
Yeah.
And like those things just, they mattered to her. And it wasn't, I really don't think it came from a necessarily unhealthy place. I think it's just, as with anything else, it's just a level of balance where she, of course, one can go way too far with that. But she cared very much about working. What I can say about her is she cared very much about working hard and trying to have a job which was both meaningful to her and paid well. And the way sort of she could reward herself for putting in her work were much more physical things like a house or a car or whatever. And for me, whenever I have excess money, it always goes towards something creative. That's just always where my money has gone. And so that's not a fundamental critique of her. It's just personality difference.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be working a job where I can afford to pay for rent, and then I don't really care about any of these other things. So like any quote unquote excess money I have will just go towards like new like music gear or whatever the fuck. And I'll be super content with that. And so where I'm at now, like since graduating in 2020, fucking COVID, not knowing what I was going to do for a job, graduating with a philosophy degree, being like, all right, I have a philosophy degree, but I care most about music and I kind of like sports, but like what the fuck, like, where the fuck do you go with any of that?
Yeah.
Trying to figure out where to go, having a lot of pressure from now ex, but for most of the pandemic, girlfriend, to like get like a prestigious job, even though I'm not sure I really wanted that or wanted to jump into that. That like I never felt like I was good enough for myself or for her. And so then it was just like it felt like a constant battle between choosing between my own passions and choosing between my love for her and like all this shit. And I never once, up until probably a month and a half or so ago, up until now, a month and a half, 2 months ago, up until now, have felt just like cool with being me and not feeling stressed. Like I'll have moments where I start to get really stressed because like that I got so used to that feeling that there was external pressure, and then I have what I haven't experienced in a very long time. Like I'll start to feel that stress, and then I'll sit back and I'll like close my, and it's like really fucking cheesy, but I'll be like, shit, what is causing this stress? And then I actually realize in my head nothing. Like it's just like I'm used to this feeling. Like there actually isn't anything out there.
Like the feeling is almost habitual.
Yeah,
right?
it's habitual as opposed to like I'm starting a real fucking job. Like this, since I haven't started yet, I keep having these overwhelming feelings of like nausea over like needing to rely on my mom to help fund certain things because it makes me feel so sick to my stomach, and I hate not being able to. And I feel so guilty about it, and I feel like a loser. And then I like will have like. Shit, no, dude, you've signed an offer letter. You've got a full fucking time job coming. Like there is income on the fucking way. Fucking relax. And I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm right. and then I'll like come home and I'll like it'll be 10 p.m. and or not that I come home at 10 p.m. but like 10 p.m. will roll around, and I'll be sort of anxious and like wanting to like lose myself in playing guitar or something, and that like habitual feeling of like, nope, girlfriend time to watch a show on Netflix that I don't give a fuck about and feel stressed and not feel good about oh shit, no, there's no one else in the apartment. I can fucking take my clothes off and play my goddamn guitar and sing like a fucking idiot, even though I don't know how to sing, if that's what I want to fucking do right now. And it's just been like it's been like a liberating 2 months, and I feel really fucking good. And like once I start working in 2022, there's going to be a lot of shit that's just going to be like getting used to working full time. It's not going to be all positives.
But on the other hand, like you will have an income, you'll be able to like support yourself, and you'll have some kind of.
We also live in a place where there's other fucking young people.
That's true.
And I can like engage with people.
Big true.
Which is big true. Although I was lied to about there being big internet, because we are currently recording down in a metro-ish area. And I was told there would be big internet coming from New Hampshire. No big internet.
I
was
may have
lied
slightly
to.
exaggerated about the big internet.
Anyways,
my internet's pretty big. Your internet, not nearly as big, but
yeah,
that's okay.
the internet knows I'm not working in tech. So
yeah, dude.
It's discriminating against me.
I got that tech bro internet just flowing into my veins.
The internet knows it only needs to be on call for 4 hours a day, because that's all you have to fucking work for.
Dude, come on. You don't gotta do me dirty like that. Come on, dude. I work for a solid... I grind for like 12 hours a day, dude. I grind to put bread on the table. Every day, I grind. I probably do, this is daily breakdown, 4 to 6 hours of grinding on like work. Probably another 4 hours of like grinding on Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Probably another 4 hours of jacking off. And that's about the daily grind. So, you know, I consider that all grinding. I consider all grinding to be equivalent, because I'm not locked into the capitalist shit mindset of like only labor I do for other people is worth something.
Oh my God, do I wish I could fucking convince myself of that.
No, I'm totally joking here.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But for the meme, it's epic sounding. I don't know. Yeah. When last time I came and visited, I remember your mom saying shit like thanks Alex for fucking providing for us, and like I wouldn't be able to be making this dinner
that
if
is
it wasn't
not
for you.
No, that is not true.
Thanks, Alex.
Bitch, shut the fuck up. I don't do anything. I'm like a gremlin that lives in the basement. I do make dinner occasionally, but that's it. That's all I'm good for.
But think about this: playing Halo Infinite, playing ranked Halo Infinite, jacking off for a combined 8 hours a day. How much power that gives you? You know, as was proven by fucking McConaughey in Wolf of Wall Street, all that matters is showing up to work with a sense of entitlement and feeling like you deserve more money. And then you will just get more money, whether or not you deserve it or not. So you're boosting up your fucking ego, and you're showing up to work ready to fucking roll.
Well, here's the thing, dude. I almost never go to work in person, but when I do, I show up in an expensive-ass suit, and I ask people I don't even know. Like, literally, this was me at the holiday party. I just started asking dudes, like, do you think OJ did it?
Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I don't know.
You wouldn't ask a black guy that, would you?
I would ask anyone that. You know why?
Would you really?
Because I'm not racist.
God, I fucking hate conservatives who say shit like that. It's like they won't go this far, but it's like, look, I'll call white people the N-word because I'm not fucking racist.
Like, okay, wait a minute.
Jesus
No.
Christ. I'll call everyone the fucking N-word. Why don't you just hold people to equal fucking standards, bro?
Dude, how do you feel about the C word discourse that
oh my fucking God. It's just cringe. It's just cringe. It's nothing but
there's
cringe.
No way to spin it, but it is incredibly cringe.
It's just cringe. Any white person, conservative, liberal, wherever the fuck, it's one thing to come at it from like an intellectual perspective of being like, all right, I guess fucking, you know, offensive racial slurs, we probably shouldn't say any of them. It's a whole nother fucking thing. Any white person who's offended by the word cracker is as soft a human being as exists on the planet. Like, that's so fucking cringe. Like you need to reevaluate everything.
Well, yeah, dude, 100%. Like, if you summed that up perfectly. But if you intellectualize it, it's like, well, we probably shouldn't call each other slurs. But on the other hand, if you're a white guy who's offended by being called cracker, like, man the fuck up, pussy. Like, come on, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, fucking man up. And it's also just like, no one wants to have this fucking discussion because it's kind of fucking boring and it gets really in depth and it's inherently so political. But just recognizing the nature, particularly in the United States of America, recognizing the nature of the fact that there is a black community and it is a real community in the sense that they are a group of people who were brought here as slaves and as oppressed as a group of people can be. The white community isn't a thing. There's no white community. It doesn't exist. We were never oppressed, let alone do we even exist as a community. So that you just like the difference there historically in just the context of a racial slur towards black Americans versus white America. Like it can't even begin to be expressed how different those groups of people are.
If you recognize like the like white people as a unified community, you're logically forced to recognize the existence of the community.
The community,
which, as we all know, memes aside, does not exist. It's not a thing. Like there's a French Canadian community.
I would argue that the fat community is more real than the white community.
That's probably true. I don't know, dude. I feel like probably all fat people have more experiences in common than all white people do. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, if one wants to sort of define community as a group of people who share some sort of common identity, then you could very much argue that the fat community exists, and you couldn't. But the thing is, like, no matter how, unless you really stretch the definition. No matter any sort of normal definition of the word community, the white community doesn't exist. It's not a thing. And the black community exists. It's like as much of a fucking community as because of the history of how they were grouped together as a group of people. And it's not to say that blackness matters in a way that like whiteness does. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense.
But it's just
it's because of the historical context in which we as white people grouped them together.
Right, exactly.
The fucking community exists. Particularly in the it wouldn't make sense, right, to go to Africa and refer to the black community. Not really. I mean, it still would make more sense than the white community in the sense of colonialization and all that shit. But it still would be much more. It wouldn't have nearly the meaning and the the obvious historical context that it does in this country.
Outside of the American context, yeah.
I mean, hopefully we get to a point at some point in the future. We're not there yet. We need to be much farther removed from, the history of racism and segregation and all these things. But ideally, I agree. There shouldn't be any racial communities. That doesn't really make sense as a term. But you also just have to recognize history for what it is.
Yeah. Also, it's only been 100.
My fucking mom was born in the. My mom was born and was a baby in years where black people weren't allowed to drink at the same water fountain.
Dude.
We're not fucking that.
It's not that far off.
It's not. We're not that far away, guys. There's a lot of, and it's not even to stereotype old people. It's not even necessarily a criticism of them. It's just all our grandparents were of an era where they grew up, no matter how they fell, liberal, social, whatever, or liberal, conservative, whatever the fuck. It was sort of it would sort of be criticizing our parents for not believing in gay marriage when they were kids.
Yeah.
Were they wrong? Yes. Does that necessarily mean they're bad people always? No, that needs a lot more context just because of the norms of the society in which they're raised. Really fundamentally good people can be raised and surrounded by people who hold bad views and will hold those views because of the context of their fucking community. So it's just our grandparents were alive in a time they were alive in in their 20s during segregation and shit. That was for a lot of them that was the norm and what they were raised by. We're not fucking past that shit.
So where do you think moral culpability for stuff like that begins?
Begins?
Or like, how would you quantify that? Like, at what point is, because obviously, like,
are you getting at the Dave Rubin? I've never owned slaves. Is that what you're getting at?
That's not what
I can't be racist because I never did it.
No, because I understand what you're saying, right? Because like, if people raised in a society that has certain societal norms, of course they're going to like adopt those, but then they change over time, and we realize that like, oh, actually these views are harmful and bad. At what point can we start saying that like, this person is responsible for like the views they hold and the actions that those views entail?
I think it's a really fascinating question, and it's one I've put I mean, who the fuck am I? I'm just some random kid with a fucking philosophy degree from like an average to maybe slightly above average liberal arts school. Like, not that I have the fucking answers, but it's a question I've spent a lot of time thinking about, because I would just get like genuinely blood boiling mad at, there'd always be a few kids, and it tended not to be in my philosophy courses, it tended to be in like history courses, who would get up there and be all on their fucking high horse and argue that we shouldn't be reading any Aristotle because, Aristotle was a fucking sexist. And, believe that women shouldn't have the same rights that men do. And it enraged me because it really is. I think that it is, unless maybe my logic is off somewhere, I think it's the same logic as saying your mom and dad shouldn't be taken seriously on any issue because when they were 20, they were against gay marriage. Like, I think it is that same exact logic, and taken to that extreme, I think it's insane.
Yeah. And
Aristotle, for example, he was one of the first thinkers to put out moral, from an ethical theory perspective, like objections to slavery of all kinds. And that's like that. Yes, it's obvious to a lot of us now. It was not obvious to a lot of people for a very fucking long time. And that should be celebrated. And I wish we could. Now, it's tough, right? Because there are also people who you do want to say. There are also people who I do say this, like, because they're wrong on this one specific issue, we shouldn't listen to anything else they have to say. Like, they're just so evil and so wrong. So I don't know where that line is. I really have no fucking clue, and I wish I had like an obvious answer. And maybe it's hypocritical of me at times, but I think it's the most important thing we can do is try ourselves if we can. If someone holds a morally reprehensible view, or they held one at one time and then grew out of it, and you view that as just like morally, just like incredibly morally wrong, whatever the fuck, be as honest as you can with yourself about putting yourself in their shoes and saying, if all of the given context and situations that they were raised in and grew up in were what I was raised and grew up in, would have I believed the things that they believed at that time? And if the answer is yes, then I tend to be much more, if I can, like, I can say pretty confidently that had I been raised by a rich white Southerner in the year 1800, I would be pro-slavery. And I'm like, Mr. fucking socialist, like, black people deserve every reparation in the world. And I'm still pretty confident in saying that. And so I don't know if that makes me, I don't think that makes me an inherently shitty person. It just goes to show the power of like context and fucking, so I don't know. I mean, I just think it's so contextual and based on the individual, but yeah, no, I admit that I very well could be hypocritical in some of my views on that issue. Is my very long answer. Sorry for so long.
Yeah, no, I think to some extent, like, we all are, right? And that is kind of like an unfalsifiable question. Like, you don't really know if you would be, like, if you would, be pro-slavery were you raised in that context. Like, it does seem highly probable, right?
I'm pretty confident I would be. I mean, I think about how crazy some of the things you believed 5-10 years ago you think are now. And then, like, just imagine a community where every single person around you it was just a given. It wasn't even a conversation. It was just a given that black people were inferior for whatever reason. And I think that that's all it takes is just everyone acting like it.
Yep.
And like, why would you ever question it?
Yep.
And it sounds insane, but I think that like that's how it kept going.
Like
right?
social norms really are like that powerful, though.
Yeah,
I think
they really are that fucking powerful.
Most people, and I think I am most people, right?
Yeah.
That just like you just kind of end up falling in line with whatever kind of the norms of your time and place are. More
your
often
community
than
and your
not.
family and like nobody. It's really fucking hard. It's really fucking hard. If ever it's sort of one of the things that our generation has grown up with. But like, it's really fucking hard as a gay kid to come out to conservative parents. Like, that it's not a fucking easy thing to do, and it doesn't have to be. That's sort of taking it to a level where it's so personal to that individual child. But if you were raised in a generation of wealthy white Southerners, I'm not sure a kid would feel comfortable expressing any. I can't even picture what dinner time conversations were like in that time period, really. But like, I'm not sure a kid would feel comfortable like asking, like, "Hey, Dad, like, have you ever considered like the human aspect of what you're doing here? Like, it might be as objectable to that dad as like, what it's like for a modern kid to come out as gay to the parent. I don't know.
It's just so transgressive and so kind of like outside of norms that it's just like completely abhorrent in that kind of context. So it's kind of like, it's a depressing reality to think about, though, because I think on some level we'd all like to delude ourselves and say like, oh, like I'd be different, or like like I could resist that, but like I don't think it is.
I don't think it is, because think about this. I think that two things can be true. Sorry to interrupt. I will say this real quick. On the one hand, I do believe that a lot of us, given different circumstances, would hold much morally worse views than we hold. Okay. I think we're much more than nature of our own privilege, and I don't mean that in any sort of like cringe. Just like anyone who, God forbid, might be listening to this somehow, probably like the fact of the matter is like for me, I am single. I'm going to be earning over $50K when I start my new job. Globally speaking, that puts me in the top, definitely puts me in the top 1%. It's some percentage within that. So I am a 1%er globally. So like there's a level of fundamental privilege in holding the views that we hold, and we're the nature of being. I am a result of being born in a rich New England academic family, and that's why I'm able to think in so many of the ways that I am. And I wouldn't probably have the knowledge that I have, the views that I have, whatever, had I been born in a poor black community in the United States. Had I been born in a poor white community in fucking Uzbekistan or whatever the fuck.
Dude, fuck that. Try like a poor white family in like Appalachia or something.
Yeah, anywhere. Like fucking anywhere, dude. I would probably be so embarrassed about being skinny and would like think that like the cool like peak male performance is to have a dad bod, and like I wouldn't. There would be no meme in that. It would be fundamentally fully true. And one of my go-to examples is my. Sorry, I said this was gonna be fucking short. I'm gonna try and keep it short. No, my friend from one of my best friends in the world moved from South Carolina up to New Hampshire in 7th grade. My first conversation ever with this kid was him turning to me in social studies class one day and going, "Hey man, can you believe they just legalized gay marriage in Washington, D.C.? How fucked up is that?" That was the first thing he ever said to me. Now my best friend in the world, now probably further left than I am socially. Like, as left as can be. Just the most fundamentally good, loyal, just like an incredible human being. And I think he's a better human being than myself in so many ways. But he was raised in the context of a conservative Christian family where the only people he was allowed to hang out with growing up were his cousins. That was it. So it's like, how... Yeah, I mean, like, how could you... I don't know. It's like... And he's such a good kid. And I think he's a good example of how quickly shit can change. But more the point being is like I think we can recognize where the result of our privilege and our context a lot more than we realize, and yet at the same time, I'm able to sit in front of a fucking microphone and say all this shit 150, and it's only been 150 years since slavery was legal.
Right.
So like shit can change pretty fucking fast.
Yeah.
It just takes people. It takes a few people being miraculously brave and having the guts to speak what they think, and someone like an MLK, to really make people begin to think and question and think. And shit can change really fucking fast, because I fundamentally believe that a lot of people are good people who don't wish harm on others. And when presented with new information, it takes time, and it can be really fucking hard to question your fundamental core beliefs, but that people change. And like they change in the relative context pretty quick. Like it wasn't instantaneous that I told this kid in 7th grade, no, dude, like that's fucked up, man. Like, of course gay people should be able to get married. It was not in the 7th grade that he changed his views on that. It happened over the course of his tenure throughout the rest of our public school system together. And it probably wasn't until 11th or 12th grade or something that he would have publicly said he was pro-gay marriage. But to come from where he did to that time, I mean, that's pretty fucking cool. And it can happen pretty fucking fast if people are really challenged on their shit.
That's a very, like, realist, but at the same time optimistic view of people and how they work, I think, which is something that's, like, I feel like severely lacking in online spaces or whatever. Is everything is either, like, the worst fucking thing ever, or, like, people are all fundamentally good, and if you question this, you're, like, a horrible person or whatever. And I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, everything just has to be taken to a fucking extreme, right? Because I think of, like the Steven Crowders of the world when talking about, like, gun control. And he'll say, like, liberals just aren't willing to accept that there are some people in this world who are fundamentally bad, and no amount of law and regulation will stop people from committing mass murder, because some people are just fundamentally bad. And it's like, I really don't think I agree with that. When it comes to the context of most of the school shooters of the past 10 years, I don't think they were destined from birth to be school shooters.
Yeah.
I am sorry, Stephen. I just fundamentally don't believe that at all. Parenting situations, economic situations, all sorts of different shit. That I think people are born with a propensity maybe for more depression and anxiety than others, and sure, whatever the fuck. But it takes so much context and it's not that often that you see a school shooter who's a high schooler or whatever who was raised in the fucking what's his name, the serial killer who's not Dahmer, Ted Bundy.
There you go.
I think he was like he's one of those people, like he was raised in a quote unquote happy family or whatever. Like that's kind of rare, I think. But even then, like you can imagine, there's also like, people can be born or raised in quote unquote happy families where actually there's a lot of pressure to be someone who they're not, and then they're not happy, and that's also really easy to imagine and understand. So I don't know. I mean, sure, I think that probably maybe some on the left who say that no one would ever do anything wrong unless except for outside circumstances, probably that's too generous. But I think that the Steven Crowders of the world are more wrong in saying that there are certain people who are just fundamentally evil and that there's nothing you can do to stop them from committing mass harm. I think that that's more wrong than someone who says no one would ever do anything wrong except for unfortunate outside circumstances. I tend to lean more towards that side of things.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable position to take, or at least I don't have any objections on that front.
Yeah, fucking go to war with Steven Crowder. My goal one day is to get this shit big enough that we can go to war with Steven Crowder.
Dude,
that would be fun.
He does not accept dissenting opinions. I mean, we all saw that fucking
the attempted Sam Cedar ambush.
Yeah, the Sam Cedar ambush that failed.
He won't acknowledge the existence of Sam. Yeah, the fucking debate me bros don't want to debate anyone except for college kids.
Yeah.
Which is just like, okay, cool, thanks. Oh, God, it triggers me. It fucking triggers me.
It is. It does genuine. I don't know, dude. It's like I don't know if you've encountered any like Ben Shapiro fans recently, but just trying to express them.
I
Like,
don't even think I have to.
okay,
I think that they're all just online people. They don't go out into the world.
I don't know.
That's certainly not true. But like, I don't know.
If you have any like older conservative relatives, then you'd be shocked.
But you think old people are into bench? But they have to be enough. They have to be like my old relatives. Like when I was doing work this fall, and I started working for a local like media TV company, and I was producing podcasts. All my old relatives are asking me what's a podcast, and they ask it every time they see me. They can't grasp what a podcast is.
I guess it depends on how old. I'm talking like late Gen Xers, like late 40s to late 50s kind of age range. I have like one relative who I know is on like deep conservative TikTok and is deep in with like the QAnon shit. And so, like, the idea, like,
does he have, like, a happy, like, family and shit? Like, how does that even...
Oh, no, like, definitely not. But,
I mean, it's just, like, how... I can't imagine being happy in life and being all in on QAnon.
I can't either, dude. Like, that level
I mean,
of
fucking
fear.
being all in on, like, full-blown fucking... Fuck progressives. They don't do anything. They're actually just, like, libcucks. I'm a fucking real social... Like, those people, too. Like,
it's
can't imagine being happy.
It's just a miserable way to live, yeah. And I think I think like sadness and misery is what drives a lot of those people to like
justify their own sadness as opposed to deal with it in a real way.
Right, exactly. I think that's a lot of what it is. I keep thinking of this meme that's like a guy saying like everything is collapsing, and then in his head is like I am eternally miserable or something like that. And I just feel like that's pretty on the nose.
Yeah, it tends to be. It certainly is the case with like Jimmy Dore, right? Where it's sort of like that sphere of the left where like AOC is actually just as bad as Joe Manchin and they're like the same person. There's a little bit of a like I am miserable and unhappy, but it's not because it is 100% because of exterior forces and I have nothing to do with it and there's nothing I can do to make my life better in any way, shape, or fucking form, and everyone's out there to get me, fucking specifically.
Yes.
As opposed to, I think a much more rational view is just like, the fucking the 1% or whatever the fuck. they're out there to get the fucking working class as a whole, and whenever you make it that individual and think of yourself as that important, then it's just like no, I'm like fuck off. You've crossed a fucking line of where you think you're so much more important than everyone else that I don't actually give a shit really what you have to say anymore.
And thinking about Jimmy Dore specifically, how much of his own bullshit do you think he buys?
I don't know, dude. I think he's off the rails. I think he gets super high all the time and is just sort of in that stage of like blurring the line between what he believes, being addicted to clicks, and sort of saying whatever will get clicks and trying to find a way to convince himself that he actually believes it. And then he starts to believe more and more of what he says because it keeps getting clicks. And it's just a rabbit hole where like that line begins to disappear. There's drugs involved, there's the dopamine rush, and there's the money aspect of getting clicks because he's a leftist who disagrees with the majority of the left. All this shit. Like, I think it just blurs together into like, I am the fucking one who's got it fucking figured out. Me fucking Jimmy Dore. Fucking Alex Jones spit on my face. Or no, was it him? I think it was him. Whose face at TYT did Alex Jones spit on?
I don't remember, dude. It might have been Jimmy Dore.
It might have been Jimmy's.
That sounds viable, which is ironic because I feel like if anyone is close to being a left-wing Alex Jones, like Jimmy's getting there.
He kind of wasn't. At least on TYT, he wasn't. He was sort of like what's so fucking crazy? Like 5 years ago? No, well at this point it would be more than 5. Like 7 years ago, like I would like group Dave Rubin and Jimmy Dore in the same category.
That's
like
nuts.
They were the same person on TYT.
Dude, we need to shut down TYT before they produce any more of these fucking whack jobs.
Nah, they've produced Hassan, dude. That's all we need. Fucking Hassan.
Hassan will, yeah, dude. Hassan will
save us all.
Was there a point where you felt like Jimmy Dore like crossed the Rubicon in terms of like going full wacko mode?
I mean, it started with the force the vote shit.
Yeah.
I think is where it started. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, this is probably an unfair straw man, but it's sort of like, ooh, there's money to be made in disagreeing with the majority of people on the left. This is interesting. I'll get more clicks this way. and then it just goes from fucking there. And then it evolves into questioning the effectiveness of vaccines and like just shit that's like not worth. Like if you want to fucking question the vaccine, whatever, man. Don't make 50. You can't claim to be like the true moral socialist. Like I'm a pure communist, but 75% of my videos are about fucking COVID vaccines. Like no, you care about getting fucking clicks. Like that's not the biggest issue at hand, right? Like Mr. fucking force the vote, Mr. It's all about Medicare for all or bust. Which like on so many levels I want to be like fuck yeah. But, like, if that's really your driving motivation here and you're making 75% of your videos about the fucking COVID vaccine, then no, you're not a pure moral socialist anymore. You're just a pure addict to fucking clicks, as is everyone who makes commentary online, which is the fucked part about.
Yeah, online politics is just, like, it's all memes, dude. On some level, it's all memes.
And the thing is, if we have a podcast that blows up, because we're talking about some really stupid fucking shit, I'll keep talking about it nonstop. Non-fucking stop.
Yeah, dude. Whatever it takes. We just gotta find what it is that.
Like
that
I'm not above that shit, but at least I hope I'll be able to admit that that's why I'm doing it is for fucking clicks. I'll be like, yeah, I'm doing this for fucking clicks. That's my goal, is to be able to just say it.
Just say it, and then people just go with it, and then they keep listening to you anyway. Because at the end of the day, we really don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched so many stupid videos of people who, like, basically openly admitting to, like, being grifters. And you know what? I think that's great.
I would so much rather that than the alternative of pretending to be morally superior to everyone around you when you're really just after clicks and money.
Yeah.
That shit, I mean, it just, oh my God.
Which, I mean, we are. So, in the very off chance that we blow up, audience, you can use this episode as proof forever. We are only in it for the money.
Clicks exposed!
We're exposing ourselves before anyone else gets the chance to. We're only in it for the money. Fuck you. We only want your clicks. We don't care. Well, I don't want to say we don't care about you, but, you know.
Do you want to take down the 1%? Then pledge $50 to our Patreon.
Pledge $50,000 to our Patreon.
For $50 exclusively, you can have a 1-hour Skype with us where we talk about our plans to take down the big government.
15 minutes at most. My time is worth more than that.
Yeah, no, it'd have to be more than $50 if it was going to be an hour.
Dude, you gotta do your contractor rate. Is you take your hourly rate for whatever job you work and then triple it. That's your contractor rate.
So I make about, I think if I did this math, if it came out, so I make like $52K. I think that comes to like pre-taxes, it comes to somewhere around $25 an hour. So yeah, $75. If you want to pledge $75 on Patreon a month,
yeah,
I'll fucking hop on Skype with you for an hour a month.
But then you got to double it. So half.
Wait, no, I already tripled it.
Yeah, but no, you got to double it again.
Why?
Because I said so.
Okay, so $150 a month.
This is what they teach you when you get a business degree. This is it. Whatever you think you're worth, just go ahead and just like double that right away.
Yeah, okay, so here's what you do. You got to do this complex math calculation to figure out what you're worth. It's going to take you like an hour. And you're going to figure it out, right? And here's what you're going to fucking do. You've come across that rate, right? You're set on that rate, right? That seems like a good rate to you, right? No, double it.
Double it. Unironically.
No, double it. You already tripled it? I don't care. Double it.
This is actually the exact advice I got someone who's like pretty legit. I was talking to her. I was like, this is what I make now. She was like, all right, double it. That's your minimum. And I switched jobs and I did it and it worked.
Yeah.
So
Did you more than double it?
I just about doubled it. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just decided you were going to double it, and you went and fucking did it.
I shot for a double, and then they lowballed me in negotiations, but it didn't matter because I still almost doubled my salary. So, there you go.
That's incredible. That's fucking incredible. To be fair, going from big... Can you even call it big gym?
It was big gym.
Big gym to big tech is a
but
lucrative jump.
In terms of what I do, I basically do the same work. So
that is
look
epic.
at it that way. Yeah.
That is epic. The goal is to sort of, speaking of doubling things, if you can put the same amount of energy into what you're doing, and even maybe slowly over time begin to lessen and lessen your energy and your effort into what you're doing, but continue to make more money, then it's like exponential output.
Yes,
so you're just doubling
your hour, your rate per hour is just going through the roof, which means your contractor rate is going through the triple roof. You think about it that way, and then you double that, dude. That's 6x.
You remember those fucking graphs that were mind-boggling in fucking 7th grade math class? It was X squared, and then it was X cubed, or what? And the difference and the fucking shit. So the fucking contract shit's going straight up.
It's going straight up. It's going to the ceiling, dude. It's going. No one can beat me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix. It's over, dude.
God, I wish I could nail that voice. That's gonna be my next fucking impression. I've got to get down. Wait, let's see if I can still do my Bane real quick.
All right, yeah, you got a cup.
Oh, fuck. It's been 5 days since I've practiced. So gotta practice off the mic. What's the line? Fuck, man, there's so much pressure now. There's so much pressure now.
All right, here, I'll look away. I'm not looking at you.
No, wait, no. Can you do it first so I can remember how it goes? God, I got it so fucking
you
good.
Gotta use something.
I was playing COD, and every time I died, I would practice my Bruce voice. Or not my Bruce voice, my Bane voice. And I got it to a point where I was like, this is fucking it. This is what's going to make us blow up. And now I don't even remember where the fuck I started.
You got to start with something simple like the fire rises.
Well, no, but what I did was I memorized the exact way he said the line. You think darkness... That's what it is. Wait, how do I get it more
You get it over your nose.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally?
You sound too much like Yoda.
You were simply born in the dark. I was raised...
Now, fuck,
man. You got to drop your voice by an octave.
Fuck did I do? No, but I did it. I dropped my voice. It was like, you were born in the dark. You were born in the dark.
Bruce.
That, yeah.
Bro.
No, fuck.
Bro.
No, it's like...
Why can't I go low? Am I fucking this cucked? I can't have a low voice.
The fire rises. The fire rises.
Right, there you go.
No, now I can't do it with I was born in the dark.
You gotta drop it, dude. You gotta. It's from the stomach.
I was born in the dark. I was born in the dark.
Fuck. No, what's the full line?
It's like, oh, you think darkness is your ally? You think darkness is your ally? You were adopted by it.
Yeah, fuck. You think darkness is your ally? You were
Dude, your Yoda intonation is too strong.
I'm fucking Yoda. This is what happens when I drink. My voice just goes high pitched.
Do the line in the Yoda voice. Just get it out of your system.
Oh. Born in the darkness, you were.
This is the best Star Wars character ever, dude. You got it, bro. That's all you.
Ally, you think you're... No, fuck. What is it? It would be... You think darkness is your ally, so it would be ally you think darkness is. Ally you think darkness is.
You're getting there. You gotta get the Yoda out of your
This is gonna
system.
get me to Bane eventually, right? Hey, it's Kathy, right? It's Kathy in HR or some shit at Disney. That's our contact?
Yeah.
Yeah. Please hire me. I'll be a really good voice actor, I promise.
If you're listening to this, and I know you are, we love you. Hire us.
Oh, how do you do... You do it so well.
I've been practicing this since the
Darkness is
movie
your
came
ally.
out.
You think darkness is your ally. You were merely born in. I was raised.
No, I keep going to the fucking
You're doing
Yoda.
Yoda again. You're doing Yoda.
Go away. Get out of my head, Yoda. I can't think of Bane without thinking of
Very
Yoda.
schizophrenic Yoda moments over here.
I'm going to have to record myself while we're not recording and then just like play it through my phone as proof. You think dark. No, whatever. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I need to admit failure.
Erectile dysfunction, Bruce.
See, like I can kind of do the up and down of it, but I do it way too high pitched. Like justice.
You have to like slur it a little bit more.
Justice is your ally.
Something like that. Fucking whatever the
I
fuck.
love that in the comics, Bane is like he's like South American or he's like Mexican or something. So they're just like, yeah, fuck all that.
That's what Tom Hardy looks
Yeah,
like.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy is like, he is God in my mind. There is no better human being than Tom Hardy.
Have you seen Venom?
No, I refuse to.
Why do you refuse?
Because they put Tom Hardy in a bad movie. Not Tom's fault. They just put him in a bad movie and I won't do it.
But I think his performance looks hilarious.
Yeah, so I won't fucking do it.
No, but like in a good way. Like he's making the best out of a bad situation.
Tom's not hilarious. Tom is epic. So unless he's epic, I'm not seeing it.
Dude, they put Liam Neeson in a horrible movie, and
But Liam Neeson does that 3 times a year.
Yeah, I guess.
And then he makes a good movie like once every 5 years. And people are like, oh my God, right. Liam Neeson, epic.
What is the best movie Liam Neeson's ever been in?
Love Actually.
That's what I was gonna say. God damn it. Love Actually is a probably the best Christmas movie.
Menace the Phantom. What is the best Liam Neeson movie? It might be fucking Love Actually.
Love Actually. The Gray was decent. Probably
He's
not better
so
than Love
famous,
Actually, though.
but like, what's he most fucking famous for? It's probably that fucking quote from Taken, right?
No, it's definitely Taken. I mean, at this point, yeah, but
Which
also
is
like
crazy. He's in just shitty movies.
he's so much of a he's a much better actor, frankly, than
the movies he's
yeah.
in. But he's respect. He is after the bag.
He is after the bag.
He is after the bag. He is not after. His goal is not. Him and Leonardo DiCaprio have very different goals. Like Leo wants to be like Mr. fucking every movie. I'm in a movie every couple of years, but it's always he thinks it's always gonna like win Best Picture. And Liam Neeson's like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm gonna do every spy movie, action movie they throw at me, and I'll just take all the money.
Honestly, dude, respect.
Much
Who is it?
respect.
There was another. Anthony Hopkins is another actor who's like that, where he's just like infamously like, I will do any movie that pays me enough. Like I don't give a fuck. I mean, he was in
He's pretty epic.
Transformers. Yeah.
Wait, who does he play in Transformers?
I don't know. He's some fucking old guy or whatever. Who cares?
Wait, in which one?
I don't know. One of the,
Was the ones with Shia LaBeouf?
No, the ones where there's like knights or something.
The one with Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't really seen those.
I haven't seen those.
Although, fun fact, the Noah's best friend's sister is like the hot chick in the Mark Wahlberg
Yeah, dude, that's
Transformers movies.
Noah has so many mind-blowing connections. It's crazy.
He also skateboarded with the Paul brothers in high school.
He skateboarded with the Paul brothers. Didn't he go to school with like, God no, there's someone or like he's like 1 degree of connection removed from like.
He's like a cousin to a NFL kicker.
That's not even what I was gonna say. I keep wanting to say like the Kid Leroy or something, but that's definitely not the case.
No, I don't think so.
It's like
No, the Kid Leroy is full blown Australian. I don't
Okay,
think
yeah,
there's
so-
much Australian
no,
in the
that's
Noah.
not right. Wait, the Kid Leroy is Australian?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, Juice found him in Australia.
Juice was
Just like some fucking little, depressed kid who could sing. And Juice was like, oh, cool.
This is the guy. Nah, fuck, this is killing me. Anyway,
I went to school with Woody Allen's daughter. I don't know
I
if
mean,
that's
that's pretty
before you're thinking
cool.
of. Yeah. I mean, weird because it's the daughter of the.
So, like, were they engaged when you were going to school together?
Yeah, that's where it gets. Yeah. No, because the mom was still alive, but in theory, once she goes, he might get engaged to her. Who knows? But no. Okay. In fairness to Mr. fucking creepy Woody, he has blood relationship to this daughter. Technically speaking, the wife he doesn't have blood relationship with, so whatever. I mean, we all kind of wish we were cool enough to marry our fucking adopted daughter, right?
Yeah, dude. The masculine urge to
The
marry
masculine
your
urge to
adopted
marry to just fuck any step anything.
any step in.
The masculine urge. Oh my
Dude,
God, do
when I
hate
think
those memes.
masculine men, I think Woody Allen followed by Liver King. That's the order, more or less.
Woody Allen first, Liver King second,
Dude, that's how it is.
fucking Owen Wilson third,
Dude, I forgot that
Bradley
Owen Wilson.
Cooper fourth.
Dude, Bradley Cooper's cool. Don't talk
Bradley
shit.
Cooper
bro.
is really fucking cool.
Or at least I don't know.
He can do a
seems cool
killer
in my head.
Owen accent. It's really fucking funny. Why do we think that people who can do good accents are like the coolest people ever?
I don't know.
Like it's
There's
a really like it's cool when you can do it, but how many situations, unless you force it, does that naturally come up?
I think what it originates from is that like there's an evolutionary urge because if you can imitate bird calls, you can call birds to you. So if you can do a good bird call impression, you
It
can
sort of like
probably-
results back to like calling a mate.
yes.
Interesting.
Or like procuring food. Or procuring food while you're calling a mate.
So fucking Frank Caliendo gets up there and does his fucking sports commentator announce fucking impersonations.
Dude, that was the funniest shit
just to
ever.
get fucking laid.
Also, R.I.P. John
Oh
Madden.
yeah, we forgot. We forgot that the goal of this podcast was to bring John Madden back to life. That was the original goal.
Dude, we have to get some-
We have failed the community.
If we can get some girls back here who are really into crystals and we can try and do like a seance.
A
and
resurrection.
summon
We should tell every person we meet tonight, hey, we need your help. We're
need your
resurrecting
help.
John Madden.
Do you know anything about crystals or seances? Are you spiritual?
77's a football number. Fucking John Madden. Oh man, what a guy.
Dude, truly, what a guy. My dad was telling me about him today. Apparently, he didn't play football for very long at all. And then he just like
No.
bounced. And then he was a coach. And he didn't
Yeah,
do that
because
for
he
a
was
terribly
fat
long
before the community was allowed to play football.
No!
There was a time in America, this was before America was epic, where the fat community was not accepted in the sport of football.
Thank God they are now. And who says
God.
societal progress can't happen?
And John Madden came along and said, no, fuck this shit. There are specific numbers for specific football players which are just meant to be worn by fat people. If you play football and your number is 66, you have to be fat. You just have to be. It's just the rules.
Who is the
He didn't come up with the rules.
who's the fattest guy ever to play football?
Vince Wilfork, probably.
Okay, how
Was-
fat are we talking here?
I think he was over 400 pounds.
Oh, that's a big boy.
He had an interception return, and it's like top 5 funniest videos on the internet is like 400-pound man returns interception for almost touchdown. And he might not have been 400, but he was and in the high 300s for sure.
Okay.
Like big boy, and having kids while at it. Like
Damn.
that's where I mean I don't want to watch it. No one wants to watch it, but don't you want to know how like a 375-pound man has sex?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I want to know, but I don't want to know. But I want to understand.
Dude, the fupa is unimaginable.
This reminds me. You know what YouTube rabbit hole I went down once when I was super high, and I went down it for hours because it was so fascinating. Sumo YouTube. Like there's a community of sumo wrestlers in the United States.
The community.
Yeah,
Are they good?
yeah, they're
It's
fucking
sumo?
obese. The good ones are obese.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and they're good. They eat you have to sleep like 10 to 12 hours every night, and you have to take like a 2 to 3 hour nap after every morning training session. So these people are sleeping like 14 to 15 hours a day, eating these like Asian-based culinary soups, which just have like 10,000 milligrams of sodium and a bunch of beef in them for breakfast and dinner,
God,
and then
what a
they
life.
sleep the rest of their time. And then they're just like training sumo, and then they sleep, and then they eat sodium and beef, and then sleep, and just on repeat over and over and over and over.
Dude, not so different from the average power lifter, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
It's basically the same thing. Just
Basically
one
the
is
same thing.
marginally more athletic.
it's just one is like more just like like trying to be like Liver King, and the other is more just like trying to like impress his like fucking king in Japan or whatever the fuck. Like, oh, fat boy funny. Like, or versus like, I am fucking William Wallace. Or whatever the fuck.
That's the thing, dude. Like, whenever people start talking about like the gym being a war or whatever, and they're not like combat athletes or just like dudes who lift weights like 4 times a week, that is the funniest shit ever.
It is pretty fucking funny. There's definitely Kino Body definitely thinks he could be like, he thinks if he wanted to, he could be like a fucking like, you know, James Bond type character. No problem. He thinks that he could do it no problem if he wanted to. He just prefers to, like, I don't know, teach the people how to be more like fucking Batman. He definitely still, like, jerks off to himself, like, oh, yes, I'm Batman. Like, he thinks he's a fucking superhero. He wants to be so bad, and he's in his 30s.
That's sad, honestly.
He probably dresses up as, like, Batman, now. Like, for Halloween, but just, like, stays in because he knows he can't go out.
That's the real Sigma mentality, dude.
Well, okay, I take that back. Whenever he watches a Batman movie, he dresses up as Batman.
Oh, 100%.
That he does. He definitely is also big into like role playing sex, where like he's a superhero, and it's like it's always like, in order to like, because he's insecure about his masculinity, the girl always has to be playing the role of like the girl who like can't walk, and the bad guy's about to kill her, but he saves her and then fucks her, and that's her payment to him. That's what Greg does on his like Friday nights.
Hey man, you said it, not me. But also probably
what's more realistic, that or him just like having normal sex?
Well, I mean, going by my theory, I think he's gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like unironically, I think that.
Then he doesn't save the girl. He saves the unathletic gay guy.
Yeah,
and just fucks him.
Maybe.
I think so. I'm pretty confident.
Perhaps.
I'd be willing to wager a significant portion of my net worth that Greg O'Gallagher has fucked someone, guy or girl, wearing a superhero costume.
Okay, I guess I could get behind that. I don't know, dude. It's either superhero costume or he has his bedroom set up so that he can just like look at himself in the mirror the whole time.
That is also, those two things can both be true.
Yeah, but the superhero costume covers too much of the body.
Well, no, you can think about like fucking slutty Halloween costumes that girls wear, where they're like a cop, but they're like
slutty Batman.
Yeah, he's slutty Batman. Yeah.
Okay.
He wears the mask.
Yeah.
And he has like fucking tighty whities, but they're like black.
Yeah. Some kind of cod
but there's
situation.
There's like a dick hole.
Yeah.
And then,
I can picture this. Okay.
Then he's definitely wearing like really tight, like tall black leather boots.
He's got the boots, he's got the gloves, he's got the cowl. And
he's always wearing the gloves. He'll never touch a girl with his hands.
He would never defile himself.
And he also tries to he can't do it, but he tries to do the like, I'm fucking Kino Body. I'm Batman. But like he can't do it.
He tries to do
when he's like, yeah, that's his coming shit.
Oh, dude, that was
I'm Kino Body.
The worst shit in like 2013, where every guy like had their like Batman impression. They were like, no, bro, mine is so good, bro. Listen.
Do you remember the phase when everyone thought that they were like the next comedian because they showed you the YouTube video Horny Batman?
Yeah, vaguely. That was a painful time to be alive, but yes.
I mean, the video was funny, but it was definitely
five fucking times.
Yeah, it more so than probably any other YouTube video did it encapsulate the annoying dude whose entire comedic personality based around him showing you YouTube videos of other people being funny.
Yeah.
It was like the really something or other type person would show you that kind of video.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that took me a second. But I mean, we've all known that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen...
I'm that guy sometimes. I try not to be. I realize I'm doing it. I'm like, shit, I'm showing people YouTube videos. What the fuck am I doing?
But the thing is, we all have the capacity to be that guy.
We all do.
You know?
The thing to do is you always have to like text it to someone, because then they can just watch it whenever they feel like fucking watching it. Or they can not and be like, ah ha ha. If they choose not to, then you're not forcing anyone. When you're having a social situation with someone and you force them to sit down and watch, like if they're gonna watch a video, it has to be less than a minute.
Yeah.
Where you're not being a douche.
Yeah.
If you sit down and have someone watch like a 6-minute comedy sketch, does that reek of douche energy?
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Now I say this, but I also did make you watch a 25-minute Liver King video earlier tonight.
Well, no, but you texted it to me.
Yeah, but then
you basically implied that it was. No, I recommended that we rewatch it.
Was that how it happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks.
I recommended that we rewatch it because it was actually comedy gold. I mean, it was fucking like. The thing is, like, but it's also different because the two of us have a shared, like, we both know that the both of us find that type of content funny.
Yeah.
So, like, if I, like, made one of my friends who I do a lot of music with, but, like, isn't really into lifting or anything, if I made him watch that with me, I'd be a fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
Like, why would he find that funny?
You have to have the shared understanding.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like it doesn't connect. Yeah.
So he'll show me, I'm not really into, like comedy sketches, really, and he's really into them. So he'll show me like clips of like Netflix specials that are like 10 minutes long, and that's
that's tough, dude.
No, no. All it is Kevin Hart just raising his voice real high and screaming, and no, and that's all. I'm like, yeah. Oh, he said bitch. Oh, funny.
Dude, that's the I don't know about you, but just like comedy specials have never been my thing, and I don't.
No.
Yeah.
Although my darkest phase of my life was when I was like sort of alt-right and Mr. Like free speech is under attack. There was a Ricky Gervais comedy special, which was all just about like basically like it's just so fucked up. It's just like the entire like the entire comedy of it was like, I'm a comedian. I say edgy jokes and people get offended. Ah ha ha! I'm so edgy. Ah ha ha! Look at me! I'm so powerful. Ah ha ha! Pronouns, people. Pronouns, right? Funny, right? And that was the whole fucking thing. And I like watched it and like over and over again and thought I was so cool. And oh my god, I would kill that person if I could.
Yeah, dude. Out of protest, I don't even use pronouns anymore. What if my pronouns are Your Majesty?
What if my pronouns are a fucking Apache helicopter?
Dude, truly the best joke. Attack helicopter gender jokes.
Yeah.
It never gets old.
It never gets old. Neither does the fucking the Twitter response of pronouns in bio. Like they think it's such a fucking gotcha.
It's a dunk every time. This is like it's the unironic version of like if you want to just like not argue with someone, just reply with one of the fucking soy wojacks.
Yeah,
it's like that, but unironic.
Yeah, I'll just call them because they like jerk themselves off to sleep, being like, I'm Mr. fucking free speech. I don't get offended by anything, and then it's just like that. You know, they'll like see me respond to something on Twitter, and then they'll respond to me, be like, pronouns in bio, you fucking, like, why should we, you know, whatever. Pronouns in bio, LOL, like, whatever the fuck. And then you just respond with the snowflake emoji, and it just drives them, like, that's all you have to do. And it drives them fucking insane. This notion that somehow they could be the snowflake doesn't go over well.
It's kind of like a black mirror that reflects their soul back onto them.
Yeah, they don't fucking
snowflake emoji.
What fucking cucks, dude. God, I wish we could just have like, just for like a 20-minute segment each episode, just get like a full blown fucking conserva king, like Twitter god who like thinks he's on top of the world with like 23 followers, and his name is like John K fucking 27913, and his pictures of him wearing a fucking tank top and there's an American flag in it. Like, I want that guy.
Dude,
just to make fun of him for 20 minutes.
I think we could start offering like, hey, if you're so confident in your positions, why don't you just come on and debate us?
Every guy I get in a Twitter spat with from here on out, I'm going to invite him on the pod. I think that's what I should do.
Dude, let's do it. That'd be epic.
The thing is, okay, this isn't like actually an own, because like who the fuck really wants to go on a podcast that doesn't have any listeners yet? But like, the majority of them wouldn't actually have the confidence to go and like speak their mind on a fucking podcast.
But doesn't that say more about us than it does about them? So we win.
Oh yeah, no, we are the winners. They are all losers. I know how to internet. They do not.
They don't.
They don't. They fucking don't, bro. Well, that's that. We win. Left is best, am I right?
Am I right or am I left? We could probably get the Noah on and have him like.
No, dude. I think we could fucking get the Liver King on before we could get the Noah to fucking show up for a podcast where there are no women.
We tried to do this.
We need to have a
years.
podcast where there's 3 women plus us, so that there's we need to have an equal or more positive ratio of women.
I will leave the podcast that day so you guys can have.
So we could just have 2
Whoa
man. Hello and welcome to Based Cucks episode number 11. Today we're joined by 2 woe men.
Whatever those are. Oh, did you see the video of fucking what's the Nazi Nick Fuentes? Yes. Oh yeah, dude.
Where she's like, you fucking Mr. fucking alt-right and sexist neo-Nazi whatever. Like it makes it seem like you've never had any experience with women.
And he's like, well,
he comes in his pants.
I'm having an experience with a woman right now.
Yeah, funniest video on the internet. The literal coming in his pants of I'm having an experience with a woman right now, but no, I haven't really had any romantic relationships with women, but I've watched all the pickup artists on YouTube. And it's all the same tricks, right? And what I always want to say to that is like, well, first off, just ignore the fucking hilariousness that is Mr. I'm having like high pitched squeaking. I'm having like coming in his pants because he's talking to a woman on his podcast. It's just like Mr. Okay. So these pickup artists on YouTube blow up, right? Because it's like this art of like picking up women, and it's super. The reason they blow up is because most guys struggle to pick up women.
Yes.
It is hard. It is difficult. If women are really that simple and always fall for the same bag of tricks, then why? Then what are men? Because all fucking men want to do is get laid without having to put in an ounce of effort. That's all we all want.
So
we are so much more we are so much more simplistic when it comes to that aspect of like gender norms than women are. That I just want to fucking I don't know, whatever. I want to have Nick on the pod to be like, no, you fucking horn dog. We are so much goddamn simpler. We just want to get our dicks wet, and we don't care how. But the only thing is, we don't want to put in any effort. We don't want to learn how to do proper hygiene. We don't want to learn how to have non-creepy conversation. We don't want to learn anything. All we want to do is fucking show up at a goddamn bar, say hi to a woman, and then and have her be like, "Oh my god,
like
I'll come suck your dick." Yeah, like
honestly, dude, the ideal situation is you order pizza and then like a girl delivers it to your door, and then she's like, "Have sex with me."
Yeah, that's what we think. That's what we think, or that's what Nick, I guess, thinks women like. Oh, my voice cracked. I'm clearly getting anxious thinking about women. Fuck it, yeah, whatever. It's just God. Does it fucking drive me? Like have sex once and then like still have a podcast where you like spend your time shitting on women, and like then maybe I'll listen to what you have to fucking say. But you can't be in your mid-20s and be a virgin. Dude, and be giving social commentary on like gender roles and shit in society.
How anyone takes him seriously. Fuentes has been like unhinged since the jump. I've been like loosely.
He's just been a full-blown Nazi for his whole fucking political career. I mean, that's just all incredible. He's been.
If you,
he makes Charlie Kirk look like fucking Mr. Intellectual. Yeah. So, yeah, but I mean, Charlie Kirk is getting uglier and uglier with age. Like he's already beginning to age.
Dude, his face is shrinking. His head is growing.
The hairline's going. His face is getting wrinklier. He continues to fucking wear sneakers with his suits. I hate that look, by the way.
Look.
I fucking hate Mr. 50-year-old retired football player, and I'm gonna wear a suit to my football pre-show, but I'm gonna wear fucking what are they called? It's not. Is it Vans? It's not Vans. Maybe it is. Skechers. It's fucking Skechers with my suit.
Yes, sir. Dude, it's a vibe. It's like they saw
it's a vibe.
They saw someone actually cool wearing like a well-fitted suit with like actually cool like sneakers, and they were like, "What if I did that, but I did it with like an ill-fitting suit and sneakers that cost $50 at Walmart?"
Do you know H3?
Yeah, I'm aware.
Do you know of his recent Twitter beef, or not Twitter beef, like legal beef with Ryan Kavanaugh? It's like some Hollywood guy who like you wouldn't know outside of the fact that he's suing Ethan from H3H3.
Okay.
Anyways, there's really funny videos of it, or not videos, pictures of his outfits to like Hollywood like red carpet events where he's just got the most baggy dress pants like you've ever seen in your life. Like it looks like clown pants at how wide they are at the knee, and then he's got that look of like the white dress shirt that's like unbuttoned the first few buttons with the tie that's sort of like loosely done.
Oh.
And it's just, and then like the sneakers, and it's like it's the funniest fucking. It's the funniest look that I think I've ever seen of someone who's trying to look good. Like you need to have, in order to pull off the like unbuttoned one or two buttons and have this sort of like loose, like messy tie, you have to be young-ish. No, you don't have to be young. You just have to have a really nice fucking like jaw structure, really good hair, some good like, I don't know, fucking facial hair or whatever. Like maybe just like, you know, it's a few days since you've shaved and you've got that like stubble look. And you've got that sort of like edgy, you know, like messy-ish hair, but you've also clearly put some effort in it. Like there's just so many other things that have to be working for you. You can't be like in your 40s and be a ginger and be fat. It just doesn't.
It's not a vibe.
It's not gonna happen, bro. It's not gonna fucking happen. But yeah, that's my. I've gotten into because H3. The reason I've gotten more into him recently is because he has a show with Hassan.
Yeah, dude, I saw that. That's crazy.
Which I think is incredible.
He went from defending JonTron, who's basically like an avowed white nationalist, to doing a podcast with Hassan in the span of like 4 years.
Yeah, he's turned into a fucking epic leftist. I love Ethan now. Because I always threw him in, for the longest time, I threw him in. I never thought of him as like obsessed with like the free speech type annoying bullshit that Joe Rogan is. But I sort of threw him in that like just Mr. Podcaster who will have anyone on to maximize his clicks. And just like whenever he gets criticized, talk about like, oh, it's just free speech. Like I'm just, you know, my show is just about letting whoever come on and express their views. And that's my, you know, whatever. That's my shtick. And I was like, okay, whatever, that's boring. You do you, whatever. I'm not just going to focus on it. But now he's turned into an epic leftist because of Hassan.
Good for him, dude. We stand progression over here.
Yeah, he had a kid too, so I think that made him a little more human.
A little more empathetic.
A little more empathetic. Yeah, and his wife is like epic.
His wife is pretty
really
cool. I haven't seen a ton from her, but I don't know. She seems all right.
Yeah, but also I respect a guy who can like Ethan's like. I don't think he works out. I mean, if he does, like whatever. He's got a little bit of a gut going. The hairline's receding. He's a little bit messy, a little bit. But there's just a level of like he accepts who he is in a way where he's like content with finding a wife who's into who he is as a person, his weirdness, his quirkiness, whatever. And he's just content with that. And he doesn't need any more than that to like promote his like masculinity or whatever. And he's content with just fucking having sex with his one wife and like being him. And he doesn't need to project his masculinity any more than that. And I find it so much more powerful than the fucking Nick Fuentes type of like person who like has to wear a suit all the time and like do their hair super perfect, but can't actually talk to a woman. Like, I find it to be so much cooler and more like, I don't know, relatable. I don't know. It's not like relatable. It's just like it feels like listening to an actual fucking human being who like knows how to like life.
As opposed to a manufactured alt-right automaton.
Yeah.
Who's just like spewing a bunch of shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking next thing we know, Nick Fuentes is going to be like, yeah, I'm going to Milo's gay conversion. And we'll be like, whoa, wait, Nick, you were gay. And he's like, no, but I'm going because I need to fix my
I just need to make sure that there's no homosexual thoughts in my brain.
Look, the reason I'm not having sex with a woman is because I don't know, man. Society, it's too gay. It's stopping me from getting laid.
That's true. Society is too gay. And,
fake and gay. Should that be where we end the pod?
That's it.
Society is fake and gay. All right, we're done.
All right, we're done.